Alright, y'all. Here we are, live again. I wanted to do another quick market update here. Wanted to do another live stream just to keep everybody updated with what's going on, what I'm looking at on the charts in general. Now, I do want to point out, guys, it's very clear that the market is recovering and is in the process of recovering. Let's get to the charts here. Let us get to the charts real quick. Now I want to take a look at CoinMarketCap before we get into our technical analysis where we kind of see what the Bitcoin price is doing, because we have some altcoins on some serious discount prices today, guys. I'm super bullish, just so you guys know. Now, this is obviously not financial advice because I'm just a guy on YouTube. I'm just a guy who lives out in the middle of nowhere on a little farm. I don't know anything about the internet. I don't know anything about cryptocurrency. If you take any advice from me, you'll definitely lose all your money. But most of you guys know about the altcoins that I'm seriously bullish on. And when it comes to altcoins, I don't really trade them as much as I just hold them, let them pump, and then I sell them for more Bitcoin, because at the end of the day, I just want to accumulate more Bitcoin. I see Bitcoin as a stable asset, especially as we move into the future, Bitcoin and Ethereum. But right now, Cardano, well, not really too good of a price. We're here over $1. But Litecoin, still under $200. I'd say this is a great price to buy in right now. Chainlink, under $30. I'd say this is a great price to buy Chainlink right now if you're looking to fill your bags. Bitcoin Cash. Guys, I believe March is going to be a huge month for Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. There's actually a lot of big news coming out about Litecoin, and I'm going to get into that later. But right now, I think Litecoin could possibly go up to $1,000 really soon, within the next few months. Definitely by the end of this bull run. And a price under $200 in my mind is a great price. So let me see who's here. Let me see if there's anybody in the chat. What's up, guys? The faithful crew. Clinton, Zaxi, and Donnie. You guys, my only friends. I have no friends in life except for you three. Adam. Yeah, definitely Adam, I think, is also a great investment right now. So my strategy with crypto during this bull run, just so you guys know, is I'm trading. Most of my trades are Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then that's what I'm like swing trading. But then I'm just loading up my bags on these altcoins, and I'm going to be taking profits along the way up. Like I had a huge bag full of Link, I had a huge bag, well I still do, a huge bag full of Polkadot, huge bag full of Cardano, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Atom. I have some low cap coins like SOUL, VIDT, BNB. No, I did not talk about BNB yet under Erksted, but unfortunately, I have been dropping the ball when it comes to following what's actually happening with BNB. Now, it's at a lower price than it was, that's for sure. So I feel like I missed the boat on this. I haven't been keeping up with it. I don't like to just load up on altcoins that I haven't been like researching and following the news on, because a lot of times, pumps happen and I don't know why, and I'm not just trying to FOMO into something. So I won't ever talk about Binance Coin too much because I just haven't had the time really to look into it. So I'm sorry about that. Underrated. But if you know, let me know. Alright, so we got 23 people up in here. I'd say that's a pretty full house for my channel. So let's take a look at the charts. Yeah, Clinton, I'm so sorry, man. I think it's my internet connection. Is there anything I can do about this? Is there anything I can do about this? I'm totally not sure. Current resolution, does it have to do? Stream settings, maybe? I'm sorry, guys. Is this like totally unacceptable? Because if it is, I'll just stop the stream. I'll make a video instead. I need to work on my scalping strategy. Let me know if this is just too horrible for you guys to even see, and if it is, I will just stop the stream now and forget it ever happened. So let me know in the chat, and then we can move on. Alright, Tony. Thanks, man, for the feedback. Alright, guys. So, going to look at Bitcoin, going to take a look at Ethereum. Now, we're still kind of just tracking along in the same place that we were this morning. And it's unfortunate because I was in the CryptoFace Discord, and a lot of people are freaking out about trying to get into a long, trying to get into a short. People just don't know what to do. And I think it's really important for us as traders to know when to just sit on the sidelines and watch and come up with a plan. It's very important to come up with a plan, like I always say, because if you don't have a plan, you're going to lose money for sure. For sure. Now, I marked out some key levels here because it's so interesting that as Bitcoin was coming up to this 51,300 level, it happened 3 times recently. Within the past, yesterday and today. And every time that happened, I saw a lot of people starting to FOMO into a long, thinking that we're going to come up back to the 54,000 level. If we take a look really at what's happening, we can see that we pretty much bottomed out way down here at this level right here. And clearly, we are trading within a range that goes from our all-time high down to this area right here. And the levels that I've marked out here are still my levels of interest. So if we can break above this resistance of 51,396, if we get confluence on Market Cipher, I would probably enter a long up to and set my take profit right here at 54,690 thereabouts. Only if we get confluence on Market Cipher, and that's what's so great about Market Cipher. If you're using support and resistance lines, which, let's be real, support and resistance lines is a great way to trade in and of itself. The problem is you never know if it's going to break out or if it's going to come back down. I mean, really, you have a 50-50 chance. If we're looking at this area right here, right? Every time we come up to this trend line, we pretty much have a 50-50 chance, right? We could either break through or we could come back down. There's only 2 options. How do we know what's going to happen? Well, we just take a look at Market Cipher. Take a look at Market Cipher B. It'll tell us. In fact, if we load up Market Cipher B right now, of course, this is the 15-minute chart. We'd have to have confluence on our larger time frames. But look, every time we come up and touch this trend line, we're already at the top of a wave, ready to come back down. It happens every single time. We're already at the top here. It happened all 3 times. Right here, this was a weird thing right here that happened. But yeah, let me come back to the chart here. So you guys know what I'm waiting for when it comes to entering a long, a real long. Let's pull up the 4-hour chart. I like to trade on the 4-hour chart. Now, it's very interesting. It looks like exactly what happened back in January is starting to play out again during this correction. If we go back in time to what happened in January, when we had this other correction, we hit an all-time high, $42,000. We came down. We formed a bottom with a big green dot on Market Cipher B, right here. And then what happened? We came up a little bit. And a lot of people were FOMOing into a long right here. But then we came back down. And it wasn't really until we hit this trigger wave right here that we had a real significant move upwards, where we had, like 36 hours of consistent upward movement without a lot of volatility. So I'm basically waiting for the volatility to slow down. I am waiting for the trigger wave to form somewhere, probably right in here, I would say. I would wait for a trigger wave to form here. And then I would not be surprised if we saw a move coming back up to the $54,800 level. Now, right now, I don't think we have enough momentum to get there. If we look at the lower time frames, this is just my analysis, guys. If we look at the lower time frames, we're still in the red on the 1 hour. You know, that's pretty significant that we're still in the red on 1 hour. We're technically still in the red on the 2 hour. So I could really see something very similar to what we saw back in January happen, where we had the big crash, we had this area of consolidation where we kind of bottom out, we come up a little bit, we come down, and then we shoot back up here. Perfectly hit this level of resistance that we tested 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. 7 times tested. I think that'd be a great plan. This is one of my plans that I have, that I'm expecting to happen, because, as I always say, I have plans for multiple scenarios. Now, are there other scenarios that could happen? Absolutely. We could very well break down through this support right here, which we are currently testing, right? And we could come down here and get a bounce off of here again. Or, you know, if we do break down from here, guys, which we cannot take off the table. Sometimes in these crazy bull markets, we will have like 60% corrections. You know, if we break down through here, we're probably going to come down and touch this level right here. This level right here at around the $40,000 mark. Now, it's not so crazy to think about. We need to keep level heads about this, because when we hear $40,000 Bitcoin now, it freaks us out because it seems so low. But keep in mind, a few months ago, in November, Bitcoin was only 15 grand. So it would not be that crazy for us to come all the way down to 40,000. That's only a 30% correction, guys. That is not serious. That is not that much. We might actually see Bitcoin come down here. And if that happens, then we need to change our plan, obviously. But the way we'll know what's going to happen isn't just based on, well, it could. No, we're going to look at our indicators. We're going to look at Market Cipher B, and we'll know. We will know what's going to happen, especially if we look at the 4 hour. I always go back to the 4 hour, guys, because I find the 4 hour just to be super accurate. It's almost like the median of the whole market. And if you know what the 4 hour is doing, you can get a better sense of what's happening on both the bigger and the smaller time frames. I know that sounds crazy, but a lot of times the 4 hour will pick up on things that have not shown up yet on the 8 hour or on the 12 hour. It will show you what's going to happen on the larger time frames before it happens, and then it lets you know what environment you're in on those really small time frames. Now, this only applies if you're swing trading, right? If you're just doing your analysis on the 6 hour, the 8 hour, the 1 day chart, then obviously the 4 hour doesn't apply as much. But we can still get a lot of information just by looking at the 4 hour. If we take a look at the daily chart here, this does not look anything different than what happened back here. In fact, it is so amazing. I cannot get over the fact at how we're just repeating this cycle. We had a flagpole here. We had consolidation right here. And then we broke out and, oops, I meant to say we broke out and we hit exactly the target. And now it looks like we're doing the same thing again. We had from the top to the bottom last time. It ended up all in all being a 31% correction. So keep that in mind, because right now we have only had a 23% correction. So we really might come down to here, guys, which would actually, if we take a look at this on the daily, if we had a 30% correction, that would take us to the all-time high of this previous little area of consolidation. So we might end up consolidating in this area for like a month, which is just a possibility we need to plan for. And if this happens, imagine the possibilities we would have if we come down here and then we swing trade up, and then you could short. I'm not a big fan of it, you know, and then we come down a little lower and then we hit another swing trade up, come down, come a little lower. Everyone's freaking out. What a great time to buy. Come up, and then we just have our breakout and hit a new all-time high, which would probably let's see if we can just use this these trend lines here to set some targets. I would say that if we break out of this, if the scenario I'm talking about plays out, we would probably see like an $85,000 Bitcoin, which would be so crazy. Maybe in April. Let's take a look at the chat here. What's up, Mega Skaters? My other streams are good. Yeah, Clinton, you know what it is? I have no internet, so I'm stuck using my cell phone hotspot. Guys, does everyone here have Market Cipher? Because if not, CryptoFace gave me a 10% discount code this morning that I'll drop in the chat here. If you don't have Market Cipher yet, I will drop this in the chat, and you guys can use that discount code. Let me see. Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is. Guys, if you don't have Market Cipher, use this discount code and you will get 10% off Market Cipher. So, you bought at 58K believing it would break the 60K mark. Is there any chance Bitcoin will ever go back to 60K? Yes. Yes. Massini Berry C Moto R. It will go back. Do not worry. Yes, Tony is correct. Do not sell your Bitcoin. Hold that Bitcoin. Hold Bitcoin. Honestly, like I've mentioned in the past, let's say that you had bought Massini. If you had bought Bitcoin right here, where my cursor is, at 42,000, thinking it was going to go up to 45,000, well, we had a 30% correction, right? A 30% correction. You would have thought the same thoughts you're feeling now. Should I just sell at a loss? But look at what happened. Not only did we recover to your original buying point, but we recovered an additional 60%. So yeah, I was just going over the fact that we might consolidate for some time, and then we're probably going to break out and see an $85,000 Bitcoin. Of course, guys, this is just a scenario that I'm planning for. We need to make our plans and then come up with different scenarios so that we know what to do when they play out. Oh, I need to type it. What do you mean? You need to type the code? Yeah, Tony Zamora, I totally agree with you. I was just talking about that. I guess you were here for that too. Yeah, hold it. Please hold your Bitcoin. There has never been a period of time in history ever where somebody who bought Bitcoin at a high and held it did not profit. I mean, there's so much upward potential for Bitcoin. So much upward potential. And if we just zoom out here and like really zoom out, I mean, you know, this is just a tiny little blip here. Let me turn off these support and resistance lines. It's just a tiny little blip in an uptrend. You know, we can't expect price to just move consistently like this, because if it did, the market wouldn't be healthy. Everything that goes up like this must come down. We want to see things like this. We want to see movement. And for us who trade, you know, it's the volatility that allows us to make money in these markets. Because if things don't come down, then we'll never be able to buy low and sell high. You know? You're down 12K within 3 days with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Yeah, you know what? That's totally normal, Massini. That's absolutely normal. I mean, my crypto portfolio, I'm holding Bitcoin too. We're all holding Bitcoin here. We're all down. We're all down, but we can't look at it as in terms of US dollars, like you're down 12,000 US dollars. The number of US dollars is irrelevant. You still have the same amount of Bitcoin. That's really what's important. 10 years ago, one Bitcoin was worth what? A couple $100. Well, what year is it now? 2021? It's worth a couple bucks. And if you still had your one Bitcoin, now you have about 50,000 bucks. That's crazy. Yeah, mega skaters. Yeah, a lot of people bought at the top in 2017 and they held, and now they're up a lot. All right, let's take a look at Ethereum. I'm very interested in Ethereum. Ethereum has some different stuff going on here. If we look at the daily chart, I mean, really, this is not anything to be concerned about because we can draw a trend line right here. And it actually seems like we're respecting this trend line. It seems like we're respecting this trend line. Let's put on a 21 EMA here as well. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we had a bounce off this trend line here. Let me put on a 21 EMA. And if you're new here, guys, the reason I like the 21 EMA is because it's a Fibonacci number, and I find that it gives really good dynamic support and resistance. Look at how we respected the 21 EMA, just using it all the way up this uptrend. And now that we broke below it, we perfectly rejected off of it. It's acting as perfect support and resistance. Now, I would say if we close a daily candle below this trend line, that is not a great sign in the short term. But again, no need to be concerned because long term I'm still super bullish on Ethereum. I am accumulating Ethereum big time. I bought some more, not for trading, but for long-term holding down at the 1500 level. I wish I had gotten in earlier, but I missed it. Honestly, if you're a long-term hodler right now, load up your bags, guys. Load up your bags on Ethereum, on Bitcoin, on some of these alts. Whenever people are freaking out, that's the time you need to load up your bags. Yeah, that's a good idea, Massini. Keep your eyes on Cardano. And if it goes below $1, that's a great time to buy. Yes, it has huge potential, Tony. Absolutely, huge potential. Blueprint Entertainment, is it wise to buy Ethereum dip? Yes, it is wise to buy the Ethereum dip, in my opinion, which is not financial advice. But absolutely, it is totally a good idea to buy the Ethereum dip. Yeah. Alright, guys. Let me zoom in a little bit here on Ethereum. I just wanted to do a little update here to break up my day a little bit. If we zoom in here on the 4-hour chart, same kind of thing. 21 EMA rejected off of it. Now we're testing this trend line. Let's hope, guys, that we can respect this trend line. But again, I'm feeling super bullish on Ethereum because if we take a look at Market Cipher down here, some very good things. We have snake eyes down here where we have these two. Let me zoom in on here since I have such low resolution. Oops, that's the wrong indicator. We have these two dots down here, right? This is indicating that we have reached a very significant bottom. The fact that the money flow has crossed from the green into the red shows us that now we're going to consolidate down here where the money flow is in the red, and when the money flow crosses back into the blue, we're going to have an explosive move. So this is the time to, if you're trading, really keep your eyes on these charts. Keep your eyes on the 4-hour charts. You don't want to miss these moves. There's no reason to miss them. We have a lot of time to look. We have a lot of time to wait and kind of see if our plans are going to play out. Now, you guys know my Market Cipher strategy. I'm going to be looking on the 24-minute time chart. I'm going to be looking on the 4-hour. And if I see, oh, this is Bitcoin now. I got back to Bitcoin. But yeah, if I see, on the Ethereum chart, if I see a trigger wave on the 4 hour somewhere, well, let me clarify, guys. If the money flow is still in the red, like if the money flow is in the red like this and we're getting trigger waves, I wouldn't be as eager to enter a long-term long position. But as soon as this money flow crosses into the green, okay? Actually, let me draw that. Let me draw some green money flow. Can I change it? Yeah. As soon as we go up into the green, that's when I'm really looking to buy, and that's when I think we're going to see it, an explosive move. Like if we see some trigger waves here and we're still in the red, and then we come up, and then we come down here and we form a really tight trigger wave, that's where I'm looking for this explosive move to happen. And then I would enter on my lower time frame. Let me remove some of these indicators here, and let me remove some of my drawings here. And let's look at some support and resistance levels that we might want to trade off of. Remove these buy and sell labels here. So, interesting. I would consider this right here where we're at a pretty key support and resistance level, because look at all the times we tested this. So, and let me turn off this weird candle color here. It looks like we're testing this support right now. If we break down, we might come down lower. And honestly, guys, it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me if we saw Ethereum come down and retest this level here of like 1250, because that's the last place where we had some serious support. If we have an area of consolidation that's kind of just in this area right here before we break out again, which is totally possible to happen, it would be like a giant bull flag. If we came up here and then we had consolidation in this area, and then we broke out again, we would probably see Ethereum reach a target of maybe like close to 3,000, close to $3,000 Ethereum. Yeah, I can totally see that happening. So I'm going to be watching these support and resistance levels. I'm going to be watching Market Cipher B. I'm going to be looking for the momentum. I'm going to be looking for the money flow index. It's going to stay in the red for a while, and once it crosses into the green, and once we get, we might come up here and form a trigger wave still in the red, come up here, and then once we form that trigger wave, that tight trigger wave in the money flow index being green, and we get a green dot right here, boom, I could see us like coming down here, coming back up here, coming down here, just like what Bitcoin's going to do. And then finally it's going to come and retest this 1250 level. Everyone's going to freak out. We'll probably get a wick down like this with all the FOMO sellers. And honestly, guys, this is not according to Market Cipher. This is just what I would do. If we did come down here and get a huge wick down and everyone's FOMO selling and the price is dropping, man, if you could buy down, if you could buy, if Ethereum really dips down to like $1,000 in that level because everyone's freaking out right here, man, that would be an amazing long position. And if you just bought in here and you held that all the way to $3,000, can you imagine if you bought Ethereum at 1,000 and held it to 3,000? That would be an amazing trade. Of course, if that happens, it'll happen within 5 minutes, where it wicks all the way down here and people just buy that up as quick as possible. But yeah, this is what I'm looking for, guys. And so really, I feel like a lot of new traders, they freak out when they start trading. They feel like they need to be trading every day. They feel like every little piece of volatility, they need to get in on the action because people are so eager to make money. But it's not about making money as much as it's about entering trades that you know are good trades and preserving your capital. If you even just make 1 or 2 trades a month, you could do very, very well as a trader. especially if you're new. If you're new and you're trying to scalp, you're probably going to get wrecked. If you're new and you're just entering these awesome setups using Market Cipher, using support and resistance levels, basic TA, you're going to do great. You're going to do great. Thank you, Nicolo. Yeah, guys, smash the like. Smash the like button. That would be super great. Turn on the support and resistance on the 15-minute for Ethereum. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, Michael, you're right. That's exactly what I'm waiting for. That's exactly what I'm waiting for. Blueprint Entertainment, you bought your first Ethereum HODL at 750. That's awesome. This might be an okay time to add to your portfolio. I mean, here's the thing: we're never going to be able to know the exact bottoms. I mean, would I like to see Ethereum come down and come down to the 1250 level and below as FOMO selling? Yeah, but we might not see that. So right now, I mean, this is still technically a dip. If you're a long-term hodler, you're buying in still at a 20% dip. I mean, that's still a discount. That is still a discount. Let's turn on the 15-minute chart and take a look at the support and resistance levels. Okay. Let's zoom out here just a little bit to get some more levels. There we go. Now, we got a lot. We're clearly range bound right now. We are range bound, and I would put a level here and a level right here too. And if you guys are like doing short-term trades, these are great levels to trade off of. I mean, seriously, like if we were coming up to this resistance right here, and we're in a downtrend on the larger time frames, and we got this huge rejection candle, and you just entered a quick little scalp right here, that's a nice. That would have been a nice little scalp. That would have been a 5% move right there. But yeah. Daniel, did I put together the spider chart? I have not done that yet. I did watch CryptoFace's video on that yesterday. He did a live stream on that yesterday. That's something I still need to play around with, but it's interesting for sure. Megascaters 11. If Ethereum is 50% of your portfolio, is that too much? I would not say so. I mean, everyone has their own philosophy when it comes to cryptocurrency and what bags to fill. My personal strategy right now, and I'm not saying it's the best, because I know people out there who spend a lot of time researching these small cap altcoins, and they're making thousands of percents. Thousands of percents. Here's the thing. I just don't have the time for that. So my strategy is to accumulate Bitcoin and Ethereum in general. I feel that right now Bitcoin and Ethereum are the most stable investments, meaning they're not going anywhere anytime soon. They're not going anywhere. They've been around for a long time. They've been able to prove themselves. Bitcoin is clearly not going away anytime soon. And same with Ethereum. They had their chances to go away after the last bull market and all the crashes they've been through. Right? They've had their chance to go away and disappear. They're going to be here. So, I'm trying to accumulate Bitcoin and Ethereum, and one of my strategies to do that is I'm buying other alts. And when these alts pump, I'm selling them for more Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, obviously, some altcoins I am holding more longer term, like Cardano, Polkadot, Litecoin, Chainlink, Bitcoin Cash. Aave is another one that I'm really holding. Theta, big time into Theta. VeChain, big time into VeChain. Maker Synthetics, I have a lot of synthetics. But when it comes to these are coins I'm planning to hold throughout the bull cycle and then sell them as we approach the top. But some other smaller cap coins that I'm really into, when they pump, I'm getting rid of them right away. Like I've talked about this before, but let's see. VIDT. I am really bullish on VIDT. I have done a lot of research on this. Let me remove these support and resistance lines here. And let me just show you guys something about this coin, why I think it has so much potential. If we go to the weekly chart, right? Look at this. Just the most basic TA possible. You know, we're at the bottom here. We're not going to go any lower on VIDT. Like we've tried to go lower this crazy wick here. We keep rejecting off this bottom trend line. We're going to break out of this, and when we do, it's probably going to be super explosive. And because this is such a low cap coin, check this out. I hope you guys can see this, my poor resolution. But if we go back just to our all-time high, that's 1,000%. That's 1,000% right there. And probably because this is going to be another crazy bull cycle, we're probably going to surpass that. So I have my bags loaded on VIDT. And if we take a look at, you know, if we go to the website here, you know, we can see that this has a really great use case, the VIDT token. And where was I here? They work with some like really legit companies. With IBM, they're working with IBM, the LTO network. These are like some legit companies that they're working with. And so I feel like this is a low cap coin. It's not just like a random coin. It has a really good use case, and they're working with some really great companies, including IBM. And if we just look at the technical analysis, I mean, this is primed to have a crazy breakout. Let's see. Yeah, ZRX and Ren have great pumpages, Randall. I agree. Mega Skaters, I don't always sell into Bitcoin. Yes, I never sell into USDT unless I'm expecting the price to go down. Unless like so if I'm trading, then I will sell into USDT. Like sometimes on my Coinbase Pro account, if I know that the price is going down, I'll sell like some of my Ethereum, some of my Bitcoin that I have on Coinbase to USD coin and just hold it until the price goes down and buy back at a lower price. But to be honest with you, you know, Bitcoin to me is sound money. I mean, there's nothing I like about the dollar. So I wouldn't want to have a crypto coin that's tethered to the dollar. The dollar is consistently going down in purchasing power. If I had $1, I mean, you can't even like. It's just so crazy. Like even if you go to like a fast food restaurant, like the dollar menu used to be elaborate. Now I don't even know if they have a dollar menu anymore because honestly, I haven't had fast food since like 2016. But yeah. All right. Is there anything anyone else wants me to go over? Oh, cool. I just got a notification here. My Wi-Fi is up. That's great. Again, guys, I'm going to put a discount code. If you don't have Market Cipher and you want to get it at a discount, you can use that code right there. Yeah, Daniel, Litecoin, man, for sure. Super bullish on it. Yeah, Mega Skaters, I understand it's a mental thing. Like we need to break out of that. We do, because the dollar is not going to be here much longer. It's definitely not. I mean, the way the Federal Reserve, I shouldn't talk about this. I might get my channel banned. But the way things are happening right now, do you know that there's been more US dollars printed in the last 1 year than throughout all of, no, what am I going to say? 35% of all US dollars have been printed between March of 2020 and now. 35% of all US dollars that have ever existed were printed into existence from nothing during the past year. We can go to the store and see food prices going up. Price of everything is going up. Quality of everything is going down. The dollar is becoming weak. Other nations are not respecting the dollar anymore. They're looking to trade in other currencies. The only reason the dollar is valuable now is because it's the U.S. reserve currency, where if anybody wants to do trade, they have to first exchange their currency into dollars. But if we lose that status, I mean, man, things will be bad. It happened to England after World War II or World War I. I forget because I'm not good at history. Massini, I mean, I'm not saying you should never sell for USDT, but this is just my perspective, right? And I tend to wax fringe, right? Like I have a very different worldview than most people, I would say, and I don't have any trust in the system that exists right now, and I do not have any trust in the dollar. And I look at Bitcoin as, when you read the white paper and when you read what Bitcoin was originally created to do, I can be down with that. And just by holding Bitcoin for the past, 5 years, it's amazing how the purchasing power of my currency has increased over time. Meanwhile, my US dollar amount has decreased. So depending on what you want this money for, like if you're using your Bitcoin to pay your bills, of course you're going to turn it into dollars. But if you're holding long term and you don't know, if the dollar's going to be here in 10 years, but Bitcoin will be here, keep it in Bitcoin. It depends what you need this for. Joel Miller, get Market Cipher and be in the future. For sure. You tried to buy Polkadot at launch on Uniswap this morning. It was a mess. Oh, wow. I'm sorry to hear that, Michael. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Ethan, no, I don't think we're in the Matrix. I do not. Not yet. Yeah, for sure. Like, that's another thing about capital gains tax. Like, Zach, see, like that's the thing. Like, if we're just dealing with Bitcoin, we are our own bank. We're our own sovereign government in a way, and we can just make transactions with each other, and we don't have to worry about those types of things. But I feel like I shouldn't be talking about this kind of stuff because I know that YouTube is very strict lately about things that they allow. Oh, that's interesting, Massini. I'm really not sure because I don't live in the UK, so I don't know. I would use Coinbase. For me, I would use Coinbase. You might be able to use Binance, but I'm not sure. So maybe Megaskaters can help you out, Massini, because Megaskaters 11 is also in the UK. Also in the UK. Alright guys, any other coins you want me to look at? I just wanted to do a quick update here. I don't want people to FOMO into trades. I want people to think these things out clearly and have a plan. If you're a scalper, I'm excited to show you my scalping strategy. In fact, maybe I could get into a little bit now, but basically, the scalping strategy that I've been using has been a combination of Market Cipher SR, and I've pretty much only been using the VWAP. So I've been taking off the pivot highs, the pivot lows, the center of the range, and all this stuff. And I've just been using the VWAP. And then I've been pulling up Market Cipher B. And basically what I've been doing, right, and I found this to be extremely consistent. And there's other things involved too. But if we have a situation, it's not as rigid of a strategy as my swing trade strategy, but basically if we have a situation where we confirm a candle over the VWAP, okay, we confirm a candle over the VWAP like we did right here. We had a bullish candle confirm above the VWAP line. And we can also clearly see the money flow index moving from one direction to the other, in this case from the red to the green. And if we have a trigger wave, this would be a great time to buy. In fact, we could just go through history here and kind of see that when let's see here. When we came down from the blue into the red on the money flow index, and we confirmed a candle below the VWAP right here, if you had entered right here, you would have had an amazing trade down. And same right here. It crossed from the red into the blue. We confirmed over the VWAP, and we crossed from red into the blue. And look at this, a nice little scalp there. Even in a downtrend, we had a nice little 2.6% right there. And honestly, we could have stayed in that trade longer and come up here and gotten a nice 3.28%. Now this is the 12-minute time chart. I've been doing this on the 12-minute. I've been doing this on the 6-minute, finding it to work pretty well. And I have some other things that I use for take profit and stop loss. Some other things that I use also. But, you know, you saw right here, we confirmed under the VWAP. We can see the downward momentum. We're starting to cross into the red. So that's the thing. I don't always look for a cross in the money flow. I mostly look for, are we heading in that direction as far as the momentum waves go and the trigger waves go. Because right here we didn't really cross money flow index, but we did have an anchor wave, we had a trigger wave, we had a candlestick confirm over the VWAP on Market Cipher SR, and then boom, we had that huge move up. And then right here, we had an anchor wave up here, we had a trigger wave down here, we crossed under the VWAP and confirmed, and then we had a nice move down here. And also, guys, I've been noticing as well, I'm still trying to figure out a way to work this into my strategy, because so far, it's pretty much I've just been winging it, right? As far as my back testing goes, I've only been actually trading with the cross of the VWAP and the momentum on the Market Cipher B, and that's how I won 18 out of 20 trades, just by doing it that way on the 6-minute and the 12-minute. But also, there's something about every time the price touches the VWAP. I was watching Flopping Groper's video on scalping, actually how to enter along during an uptrend, where he's talking about how, you know, the VWAP is pretty much acting as dynamic support and resistance. Let me turn off this 21 EMA here. You know, if you entered along right here because of our confirmations, you had a trigger wave, you had an anchor wave, a trigger wave, and a confirmation candle over the VWAP, you could have ridden this up, and then you could have like re-entered more into your position right here on this on the VWAP bounce, and then again here on the VWAP bounce. So I'm still trying to figure out how to work these VWAP bounces into my strategy, because I know you could make a lot of money doing this. I just don't have any kind of way to confirm that it's not going to then just dump it back under. It seems like you're kind of gambling when it comes to that, because you don't know if it's going to bounce or if it's going to cross. So that's the basics of my strategy. I've also been using some other indicators along with this, but you guys could play around with this too. And honestly, when it comes to the scalping, I would also tend to prefer, like if we're clearly in a downtrend on a longer time frame, like if I pull up like the, let's see, if I pull up the, like even just the 3-hour chart or the 2-hour chart, like right now, it looks like we're about to enter into more of a downtrend on the 3-hour chart, okay? So I would be primarily looking for shorts. I would be biased toward the larger term trend, especially if I was on the 6-minute time frame. Like if I know we're in a downtrend, right, I'm not going to be looking for a scalp long. I'm going to be looking for a scalp short. But we were in an uptrend for the longest time here on the 3-hour, and you know, look at this. Look at this entry. That would have been an amazing little scalp here. Let me shut off this these things that I don't really use too much. I use other things for my. Look at this. We had trigger an anchor wave. We had a cross over the money flow index. We had a trigger wave mixed with a confirmation over the VWAP. This was an amazing scalp. This would have been an amazing scalp. The thing is, it takes patience. You can't just come on here. That would have been an 11% scalp right there. Pretty cool on the 6-minute. You can't just come here and think you're going to be able to trade. Like, if you have only an hour to trade and you think, oh, I'll scalp for an hour, it doesn't work like that. Each one of these candles is 6 minutes. That means 10 candles is an hour. So like an hour is a long time. That's like if you had entered this trade, you wouldn't have gotten out of it for 9 hours. So, you know, even though it is technically a scalp and you could like get out sooner than that, this could turn into like a day trade, right? Starts as a scalp, turns into a day trade. I guess I'm not like good at scalping. I've tried this strategy on the 1 minute here, and it kind of works, right? It works sometimes. Like right here, we had a trigger wave and anchor wave money flow crossover. But by the time you would have entered into this move, when you got the money flow crossover, you were kind of already at the top here. That's like a 0.85%. I'm just not comfortable with it yet, guys. Let's see here. Yeah, Arthur. Bill Gates, he says that, right? I don't trust anything that man says. I do not trust anything that man says. Ben Wright. I'm not sure what you mean. So Mega Skaters, when I talk about a trigger wave, here's what I mean. Let me explain about trigger waves and anchor waves. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear. A trigger wave, like I'm sure that this is what Ben Wright was talking about here. The trigger wave is a smaller wave that's printing a higher low. So let me find a good. Here we go. Okay. Here we have a perfect example of anchor waves. These big humpy waves down here that come down below this negative 60 line, preferably. I would consider this an anchor wave. I would consider this a trigger wave, but also an anchor wave. I would consider this right here a trigger wave, and this right here a trigger wave. They're higher waves, and they're showing that overall the momentum is moving upwards like this. And these waves are going to follow the money flow index as well. They're showing us that there's money coming into the asset, and they're showing us the waves in which the price goes up and down and up and down. And if then we look up at the chart, we can actually now see how these waves like affect the price, or really how the price is affecting the waves. I don't really know which way it goes, but you have a bottom right here, and then the next time you have a wave right here, you get a spike up, and then the next time you have a trigger wave right here, you get a spike up. So these waves are showing us that the momentum is overall moving upward. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, I can try and explain it again. Yes, 24 frames per second. Yes, absolutely. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart, because it's much more clear on the 4-hour chart. Let me go back to a scenario that's already played out. Okay, it's already played out for us all the way back in January. What a great time January was. This is a perfect textbook example of trigger waves and anchor waves on the 4-hour chart. We have ourselves an anchor wave right here. Preferably an anchor wave, preferably. Okay, not all the time, because this was also an anchor wave, but if you want the best anchor saying that we've hit our bottom, you want to have one that where the money flow index is in the red and it has confirmed well over this negative 60 line on the Market Cipher B. This one confirmed at the negative 77 mark. Okay, this is our anchor wave. And then this thing here would have been a trigger wave. So this is telling us we hit a bottom. Now we're going to kind of wait it out until momentum comes back down, because here's the thing. We hit this anchor and then momentum goes up. And now when momentum comes back down and it stops at a higher level, this is telling us that the price is heading upwards, because we're not coming down as low as we did that first time. Money is coming back into the asset. So we know we can buy here, and we're going to be buying at a low, but we know that the low is at the bottom because the wave has crossed over. So if we had purchased or bought at this trigger wave right here, we could have ridden this whole thing up. And then again, we got another trigger wave right here. Now this trigger wave was even more powerful than this trigger wave, because not only is the momentum moving upwards and we're forming higher lows, see, we had a low and then a higher low and then a higher low, but now we have the money flow index crossing from the red into the green, which is telling us, like CryptoFace says, if this was a garden, that's water coming into the garden. Things are going to start to grow. And as soon as we got this tight trigger wave right here with the money flow index crossing from the red into the green, that is where we broke out of. Because if we take a look here, if we take, Bitcoin, it happens in cycles. We had a huge move up from here to here. We consolidated for a month. The money flow index went into the red during this whole period of time. And then we broke out. This is a giant bull flag. We had the flagpole, the flag. We broke out. Now it looks like we're forming another bull flag where we are going to probably see a repeat of this. I went over this before, but I guess I'm saying it again. And then we're going to break out of this, and we're going to see Bitcoin hit probably the $85,000 level. So let's see. Am I buying on the trigger or after the money crossover? Well, I think I might have some lag here. Do I have some lag?